Hello, salutations. What to do? Stop the game. We're all Father Dura gang. The vibes like a scrap. Let's get it. Welcome once again to the Aftershow Podcast. We are, of course, once again streaming Friday night, bringing you a little bit of gaming news, a little bit of movie, a little bit of pop culture. I'm joined, of course, by the ghost of Casual Avenger. He is too busy eating deep dish in his main form, but we'll hold it down. So instead, I've got this guy, Jayshockblast. What's up, my friend?
Oh my God, what a day. I've been traveling all day. I got here literally like 10 minutes ago. I've been home for 10 minutes.
He's not exaggerating.
I'm already here with you guys. And so that's commitment.
Yep, that is dedication. I hope you all in the chat appreciate what Jayshockblast is willing to do.
Yeah, I almost actually got to have some of that famous deep dish with Casual. But I think he got a little tied up with work, so I did get to hang out with Slipshock though.
I saw the photo. I maintain it looks photoshopped,
but he did position himself kind of weird. But we were trying to get the sign in the background, so yeah. So that was cool, man. It's cool to meet some Avengers. I felt really bad because I didn't really have like a big schedule or anything outside of one day. And by the time Casual seemed to be ready, I was already involved with something, so I couldn't break out of it. But
it's always weird. It's always weird to see when creators that I know actually meet up in the real world. Just unnatural.
Yeah, it would have been cool. And honestly, I can't thank Slip enough, man. Like, he picked my wife and I up at the hotel, brought us out to this amazing arcade called the Galloping Ghost in Brookfield, Illinois. I paid for him to get in just because he drove us there. It's $25 to get in. All the arcades you can play, you just walk up to the machine, press the button, and you're playing. And there was like so many amazing games that, like, some of which I never even knew existed. And I've been to this place before, but him and I beat the Captain America and the Avengers game together. So that was pretty. And my wife actually played with us too, so it was pretty funny.
Wow, that actually sounds like quite a day.
Yeah. And then there was like a Spider-Man game that I had never seen before. You get to play as Spider-Man, the Submariner, Black Cat, and
you had me at
Hawkeye.
You had me at Black Cat.
I figured.
I stopped listening after that.
Yeah, and we didn't beat that one, but because it was basically the exact same game as.
I would beat that one.
Yeah. Well, we were kind of getting to the point where we had to go, so. But yeah, we one of the other games we played was called Xenophobes. Yeah, and it was from like the 80s, and the Xenos were like aliens.
I thought you were going to say Republicans.
Yeah, it was a weird. It was like it was one of the ones with like a little machine gun, but there were like 3 strips, and each strip was one of the machine guns, and it was so weird. But we had to play that a little bit to see what that was all about because the name.
Of course, obviously, I had a similarly crazy experience trying to get onto this podcast on time. My headphones exploded.
Oh wow.
So I had to whip out my backup pair that I used to record music with. so fortunately it was these are in perfect working order. There was no issues there, but I now need to get another pair, just so you always have something in the stash, because headphones be tricky.
I've had these Bose headphones. I got them maybe like a year before I left, so probably have them since 2015. And I mean, they're nothing special. I mean, they're good, but explain.
What an excellent question from Eastwood. Backstage Pass is the membership tier that you can access in order to support the Aftershow podcast. Now that we are at the 500 plus subscriber mark, YouTube has given us a little bit access into the partner program. So if you want to support the channel, get some access to these cool emotes and badges. It's 99 cents a month, exclamation mark join, links in the description. And thank you once again, Eastwood, for your very organic question. So we got some stuff to talk about today. We got Blue Beetle opened this week, and I'm not sure if Jay actually watched it.
No, I did not have a chance to.
Shame on you not being prepared for the show, but
Literally traveling all day.
real issue. So fortunately, I was the responsible one. I didn't go to the theater, but I was able to catch a screening of it while I was taking a brief excursion with some gentlemen on the high seas, and
Were they Straw Hats?
they were. So we were all able to watch it, have a good time, and we're going to talk about. So I'll do my little brief spoiler free review, and we'll talk about the box office numbers because, oof. And we're also going to.
Here's what I can tell you. Okay, I was looking on my Discord, and I know I saw my buddy Free Willy Rocks and Atomic Super Me went to see it, and it seems like both of their theaters were very empty.
Yeah, that's going to be a trend. So we're also going to talk about Gamescom open night. Do a little preview now that we got a lot of information about some of the stuff we can expect there, and we're going to talk a little bit about the WGA strike because they actually made some progress. Looks like they are trying to negotiate an end to the strike. And for fun, I wanted to do a reaction to the new Walking Dead video game, Destinies.
Oh boy,
because I don't know if you saw the reveal trailer.
No.
I watched it beforehand and looked some of the comments and
I'm gonna be honest with you. These last couple days, I have mostly been offline. I basically would jump on. We went. We got there Tuesday, and we went to the Cubs game, which was awesome.
Nice.
It was nice to go to Wrigley Field. I was shocked at how nice Wrigley Field was because it's like older than me. And
well, it is a professional baseball stadium. I expect it to be nice.
Yeah, but well, I've been to Fenway Park, and that was what I was expecting. And I'm a Red Sox fan, so for me to tell you that Fenway Park is a dump, that tells you all you need to know. Wrigley is not a dump. It's definitely quaint. It's small. You can tell it's old, but like all the stuff that they've redone came out real nice, and I was very impressed.
So you're telling me they actually care, unlike the Red Sox?
I don't think it's that the Red Sox don't care. Like, I think the biggest difference is probably that Wrigley just replaced all their seats, and the Red Sox still have the same seats from the day after the Titanic sank.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, once again, want to shout out the chat. We got Eastwood, Capte, Spider Doge. I would love to get in on that coin. We got Arkham, Venom. Appreciate all y'all guys for hanging out. Supreme Lover, King J Gaming World. Thank you for hanging out with us on the Aftershow podcast this evening. So let's get into the first story. Since Jayshockblast was so prepared, I want to start off with a story he's most familiar with, which is Blue Beetle. So this one doesn't require you to watch it. This is just early previews for the box office. The numbers have been rolling in, and Blue Beetle so far has made $3.3 million in the previews so far. They're projecting it to be, last I checked, the most recent numbers, they're projecting a $25 million opening weekend, and it's finally, should be enough to knock Barbie off finally the number one spot. But those numbers, they led with that. It takes flight with $3.3 million previews. But if you scroll down and you look at the other previews compared to the other DC releases, Shazam 2 made $3.4 million in its previews and had a $30.1 million opening. The Flash had $9.7 million in the previews and had a $55 million opening. And as you and all of us know, those were absolute gigantic flops for DC. so,
Yeah.
so for the good news is that despite the fact that it doesn't look like Blue Beetle is going to make a lot of money unless it pulls an Aquaman and has a surprisingly huge international run. It won't be as big a disaster as the Flash because this reported budget is about $120 million. So when you and if they spent $100 million on marketing, that's 200 million total, as opposed to the Flash, which probably is closer to 300-400 million when you factor in everything. So they're not. It doesn't look like they're going to make any money, but they didn't spend as much, and the reviews aren't terrible. I mean, it's I checked Rotten Tomatoes. Critic scores that are sitting right now at about 79%. Audience score is 92%, but not many people have actually reviewed it in the audience. But Metacritic, I think, is probably where it will end up. That one got about 61 from the critics and 6 from the viewers, which I'd say is about right. A 6. This is pretty much a 6 out of 10 movie. I will say it's much better than the Flash in terms of visuals. I mean, despite the fact that they spent substantially less money, they got much more mileage out of the CGI and effects, I would say. I don't think it was a better movie than the Flash. Well, it wasn't better than the Batman, the Bat Keaton portions
Right.
of the Flash. It was definitely more enjoyable than the Ezra Miller portions of the Flash movie. Was basically the first hour. The whole baby in the microwave thing
Right.
that wasn't great, but Blue Beetle to me was pretty aggressively mid. I mean, it was clear they were borrowing from a lot of different mostly Marvel projects. It seems a little bit of Shazam with the whole family thing and the goofy the goofiness. Very heavily into the Hispanic heritage. They're making a very very aggressive push for that market, and it's the action was pretty good. They did a pretty good job. I love the suit. The suit design was fantastic. I knew that from before they even started, when they first started shooting, when they gave us that first look at the suit. I was like, okay, at least they cared about the suit. And in action, it actually looked pretty cool. The story, not the best. A pretty straightforward, origin story. A guy, he's a college student. He's just got out of college. He's got this plan to get his family out of poverty. He went to school for pre-law, which is a 7-year process. He did 4 years, came back home, and everything's falling apart. His family is about to lose the house, so he has to get a job. And of course, he doesn't get a job in his field because he's pre-law, and you can literally do nothing with that. He definitely would have been better suited taking a 2-year stint at a trade school, doing plumbing, electrician, computer science, if he was trying to get some money.
Yeah.
Was that your fatal flaw, Casual? You got a 4-year useless degree instead of go to trade school? Yeah, that's definitely something I would suggest to anyone not sure what they want to do, rather than spend 4 years and getting the $100,000 of debt. The politics were it was weird. They were very aggressive with the politics, but not too much so. I mean, it was like they felt the obligatory, we got to sprinkle this in here, but it wasn't but it felt kind of shoehorned in.
Right.
like for example, they had this exchange where Susan Sarandon, she's the big villain. You know, she's the CEO of Core Industries, and she's the one that is trying to get the Scarab back because they basically did a 15-year expedition to try to get the Scarab so that she can, and her plan is to use that to build this huge army and revolutionize peace or whatever. Basically, make them an unstoppable peacekeeping force. So she obviously wants to use the Scarab for that purposes to build a Scarab army, and she's trying to get the Scarab back from Reyes, and her niece, I think, is the daughter of Cord, is basically helping Reyes, and she's explaining where everything went wrong with the Susan Sarandon's character, and she's basically like, okay, her grandfather basically was deciding who to leave the company to, and ended up leaving it to her father instead of Susan Sarandon's character, because he wanted to take the company in a different direction, away from weapons, away from warfare, kind of like a Tony Stark after the whole incident kind of deal. And which is understandable, because at this point in the movie, they've established that Susan Sarandon's character is pretty much a sociopath. She's a complete monster. She treats the Spanish staff like trash, and she's a warmonger, all this other stuff. But weirdly, the daughter is like, when she mentions she was passed up for the role as leader of Cord, Reyes is like, oh, that sounds, and she finished the sentence, sexist. And I was like, wait, what? How's it sexist? she very, very clearly, you just said, like, literally a few sentences ago, that your grandfather wanted a direction for the company that was towards peace, and we've already established in the movie that Sarandon is a warmonger who wants to create a Scarab army to take over the world, basically. And you're just like, yeah, she didn't get the job because of sexism. I'm like, no, that's not it. Yeah. I think it's because she's terrible and wants to use the company for war.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it at some point, but man, I'm gonna be swamped to get to it. So
you're not in a rush. How do you think Blue Beetle flopping would affect the future? Well, it's definitely flopping, unless a miracle happens. But I don't know. Like, James Gunn said that he's committed to the whole Blue Beetle thing being in the DCU. But James Gunn says a lot of things, as Gal Gadot will tell you from her firsthand. So we can't always take what James Gunn says seriously. And all these things can change, because at the end of the day, James Gunn doesn't have absolute control. He has, a CEO to answer to. They got investors to answer to. If Blue Beetle doesn't prove to be a box office draw, I don't know, maybe if he's liked enough, which audiences seem to be okay with, but maybe they'll at least keep him in for, like, cameos or stuff like that, features, because in terms of him leading a film on his own, that doesn't look like it's in the cards, unless again this movie pulls an Aquaman and does an unexpected big overseas run, because domestically it's on pace to make less money than Shazam 2, which, holy shit. but
yeah.
I don't when it comes to the future DC projects, we all know it's all about Superman Legacy. Like that's what basically what we're waiting for. Everyone, even though Gunn said Blue Beetle is supposed to be part of the DCU technically, no one really considers the stuff that's come out this year as part of the new DCU. They're just kind of waiting for Superman Legacy, because that's actually done by James Gunn, full post DC reboot, that's going to be like the benchmark for how people see where the rest of DC is going to go.
Yeah, so I mean, based on what you're saying, it's kind of what I expected. One of the things that Marvel has done so well is, especially when it comes to movies, they've mostly taken characters that are established, that are the benchmark, and they've given them the first run,
Right.
and they've sprinkled in other characters and let them branch out. So dropping Blue Beetle out of nowhere, especially, and I might be setting myself up here, but especially with no like Booster Gold, um, is an odd choice. But the bigger part is, it's the last movie I think of the pre-gun universe. So there's a lot of people that are already tuning it out. Most people.
We still got Aquaman, surprisingly.
Oh, that's right. But well, all right, but like, and let's be real, okay? No, not many people outside of diehard comic fans and maybe Injustice 2 game players know who Blue Beetle is exactly. You know, it's they're definitely Blue Beetle fans, but
For sure.
that is, I would say, out of all the characters that have gotten a movie or even a TV show, I would say it's the second most surprising outside of Echo. You know, like I can't think of anybody else where it's like, oh, how, you know?
Really, I feel like Blue Beetle, maybe because me, I'm like familiar with Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
I've seen him in, not, I haven't played the Injustice games, but I've seen him in, like, Young Justice and stuff like that. So I was familiar with who the character was. I talked a lot of comics with people, so I knew Blue Beetle. I did not know who Echo was until Disney Plus.
I mean, I knew who Echo was, but minor character still.
Yeah, so I get what, like, because Marvel basically, they took, they took the characters. Obviously they started off with Iron Man, people, I think people kind of overstate how unknown Iron Man was. Iron Man was very much, he wasn't, Spider-Man famous at the time,
right?
But he was a very big character in Marvel. A lot of people knew who he was, so they at least started there, and built around him, with Captain America, Hawk, Thor, just hitting the big ones, and then kind of just going down the list, Doctor Strange, and then they took some swings like Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, and they had built enough cachet where people were just like, oh, it's a Marvel movie, we're all in on the MCU, let's go see what they're talking about. And when the movies surprisingly were good, they were just like, oh yeah, great, I'm all about this character. Whereas DC, they're in this transition period where I think their plan was, while they were hoping that they could get some hits while during this transition period to get some momentum, and it's just not happening. Shazam 2, massive bomb. The Flash they had really high hopes for that. I don't know why, because we saw it, but that was a disaster. And then they just had this Blue Beetle thing, and I feel like Blue Beetle was something that they greenlit when they thought that their other projects were going to do well. and it just, like, even though Gunn is shoehorning this in as a DC property, this definitely felt like a Snyderverse era property where they were just hoping to just get something to land, and it just didn't. So once again, this is really just going to come down to what people consider the real DCU stuff, the Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters slate. Creature Commandos is going to be the animated one, but the move in terms of movies, all eyes are going to be on Superman Legacy. If that one flops, it's over. Pack it up. DC's done.
Yeah, I would say I think there's gonna be some word of mouth that gets people into the theaters to see Blue Beetle, but I don't think there should have ever been like an expectation that this was, gonna top Shazam.
I
Like,
I feel like this should have at least top Shazam 2.
Yeah, Shazam 2 maybe, but like,
because this was definitely better than Shazam 2. Shazam 2 was dog shit.
yeah. So I don't know. It's a bad time for me to go see it right now, but I'm gonna try to find a way to do it.
I'll send you a link.
All right, I like it. I don't normally like it, but I like it in this case because I would love to go see it in the theaters. But man, I mean, I'm allowed to actually acknowledge this. I turned on the Xbox so I could have Starfield downloading in the background. So I'm gonna be
I've
out in the
heard.
stars.
Now I've heard some people. I guess they were talking about in the Discord. Some people that got some high profile individuals who got access. They kind of give their first impressions after like the first several hours of the game.
Yeah.
And so far, the consensus is that it starts really slow. It's basically like it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption. They compared it to, where it's like basically a 2-hour introduction into everything. And because there's so much to go over and everything, so they said that part's kind of slow. That's basically the first 2 hours of the game, but after that they say the game basically starts and it's very great. One person said they were about 15 hours in and didn't get a single bug, and they complimented the visuals, especially for the engine that they're using. They're saying like this is like some interstellar film level quality crazy stuff that you're going to be seeing.
Nice.
So it's so far so good. I mean, well, definitely let me know privately what you think about Starfield. But yeah,
Billy, I just got home from a little trip with my wife to Chicago. I also do have the Mortal Kombat beta, but I don't know. I redeemed the code, but I'm waiting. I'll download it after the show. The crazy thing is that like I have all day tomorrow to record some stuff. I also have another game that I got just before I left for Chicago Monday night that comes out a little bit before Starfield. So I'm probably going to play a little bit of Starfield and then record everything I can for that game and then go back to Starfield along with some other stuff that I am going to be balls deep in work the next few days. And Sunday, my brother and I are going to New York City for a Pokemon Go Fest. So we're gonna leave at like 3 in the morning and do everything we got to do and then come home. So that kind of like I don't regret it because it looks like it's really awesome. It started today, and one of the guys I follow, he's like the trainer club. He was posting some video and pictures, and my God, it looks like it's so much fun. So I'm looking forward to that, but then it's just get right to work,
I feel you. Next week is going to be crazy. We got Gamescom opening night, which we're going to talk about next. I'm going to be co-streaming that.
Same.
I was invited to be a partner for the Future Games Fest co-streaming stuff, so I'm going to do that as well. I think that's on Wednesday. Gamescom opening night is on Tuesday, and I got some stuff to record, but I'm basically waiting for some Spider-Man 2 news because I think there's going to be some big stuff dropping for it this next week. So we're gonna we can get into that in Gamescom because Gamescom sounds very exciting. I've still yet to touch the new Mortal Kombat. I didn't get into any of the beta things. I didn't even apply to any of them.
I might have a PlayStation code for you.
I would appreciate that.
Before we go to Gamescom though, let me just tell Billy, I actually played Mortal Kombat 1 in LA at Summer Games Fest. So I actually already have videos up from Summer Games Fest, and I also played it during the stress test. So as soon as it's done downloading, I want to play some Lee May. Because I think she's in the beta right now, and I'll probably stream tomorrow for like an hour or two, probably like 2 hours, the beta. But then I just got, like, look, I got Starfield, I
So,
got to see what's going on.
so make sure you definitely go to Jayshockblast's YouTube to check out all of his Mortal Kombat 1 coverage so far, because he's been posting some heat. Him and Caboose Uncaged have been holding it down.
Yeah.
And I'll eventually, if I could get a code, I'll eventually play it, because mainly, again, I'm not really a fighting game guy, but when I saw Homelander and Omni Man, I was like, okay, well, I gotta give it a shot. I'm also going to be giving Street Fighter 6 a try. Finally, I'm officially a Capcom creator, so
Nice.
I can put in for some of that content as well. So I'm gonna give that one a try. But Gamescom is looking good. They're actually, speaking of Mortal Kombat, they confirmed there's going to be a new trailer for Mortal Kombat 1 at Gamescom opening night.
Ooh, what could it be?
I'm sure Jay knows already. I'm sure he helped sponsor the trailer, so so he knows all about it. But Gamescom opening night is going down on Tuesday, August 22nd. So far, the Jeff Keighley event is going to have a lot of big numbers. A bunch of people are going to be co-streaming it. I'm sure Jay will be on.
Yeah, I think
his
I heard him
YouTube.
say this isn't going to be as much about new game reveals as it is updates on other games.
Which is great for me, because there's definitely some
Yeah.
games that I'm looking for more updates on. Of course, you really do Twitch, so I'm assuming we're both going to be doing this on YouTube for our co-streams. But so far, they've confirmed Alan Wake 2, Mortal Kombat 1, of course, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Armored Core Fires of Rubicon. There's going to be some Starfield, some Baldur's Gate 3. There's going to be a lot.
Pikachu.
I just saw they posted about Sonic. They confirmed that's going to be there. Black Myth Wukong, that got me really excited when they announced that we're finally going to get an update on that game. I absolutely cannot wait. But the biggest thing that people in my neck of the woods are expecting is Spider-Man 2. Of course, the last time Jeff Keighley had a showcase, it was Summer Game Fest, and we had that. He was actually there. I was watching at home, and we had a surprise. Wasn't to me because I predicted it, but for everyone else, it was a surprise appearance from Spider-Man 2. That's where we got the famous Eddie Brock is not Venom confession, and we also got the announcements of when the pre-orders would go live. So for Summer Game for this time around, obviously the pre-orders are already out. Games already been selling. We got the collector's edition, we got the launch bundle, but there's still some items to check off on Insomniac's
Crystal Dynamics. That Freudian slip.
Oh man, yeah, that was imagine if we actually get an update on that Tomb Raider game at Gamescom that no one wants to talk about so far.
Imagine we get an update on Perfect Dark.
Oh, that's never happening. We'll hear about that in 10 years, maybe. But Tomb Raider, maybe they're definitely past due for an update on Tomb Raider. I know they're behind schedule on that. They're trying to get that up there. But Insomniac did say that this summer they were looking to have some kind of trailer showcasing the deluxe edition suits, and
I bet that's what we get.
Yeah, which is I'm thinking most likely what we'll get. It'll be like a trailer, maybe some gameplay in there, or some CG stuff where basically they're going to give us a look at Spider-Man, Peter and Miles both rocking out with some of the different suits, and with a little call to action. Go pre-order a game, get the deluxe, because the deluxe, in my opinion, is the best deal. You get all the normal pre-order stuff, plus you get the 10 extra suits plus variants, and it's only like an extra $10, plus you get skill points. And if you do the deluxe edition, you get like 5 total skill points plus the early gadget unlock, and an extra 10 suits for $10. To me, that's a great deal, no brainer. Collector's edition, harder sell, definitely for more hardcore fans. If you really want that statue, but otherwise, I would definitely recommend pulling up on that on deluxe edition. I'm not expecting anything much beyond that because we already got a gameplay demo, we already got the story trailer, so basically we're just looking at that deluxe edition. Maybe they'll do a launch trailer and maybe some additional gameplay showcase. But the other big announcement I'm expecting for Spider-Man 2 is related to Game Informer, because next week is also when the time frame where Game Informer does their whole announcement for the next cover reveal. They usually do this at like around the 20th, that last week or so of the month. So they'll be doing that on their Twitch. They do a live stream where they do a quick reveal. So Spider-Man 2 is looking like it's going to be September or October. It's got to be one of those.
Yeah, I would think it'll be September. I mean, the month before makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know something that I don't. It's not something that I'm part of, so I shouldn't say anything about it. I've heard something, and it fits a possible September cover where they might have access to the game, like some kind of access to the game, because I feel like that's what they would want to do. You know what I mean? Like be able to talk about playing it.
Yeah, like so far based on their other cover reveals, I don't know how much of them had access to the game. I know I was looking at a little bit of their Final Fantasy 16 coverage. I know they're going to have interviews, they're going to have additional gameplay, some cover art and everything like that. But probably maybe they'll give them some access. I know IGN had some issues where sometimes they would do like a month of coverage, and some studios wouldn't give them access to the actual game. Like I think Gotham Knights was one that did that. They weren't able to actually play. They were actually able to play it, but we'll see if a Game Informer gets access to
People
the
were
game.
bitching about IGN like as I left for my trip.
When aren't people bitching about
Well,
IGN?
yeah, but apparently this time, like there are a lot of those studios that do early access games that are really giving it to them right now, because like they're basically acting like Baldur's Gate 3 is this just incredible new release, which it is, but like that game was in early access on PC for a while,
Right.
and it had issues, and they previously reviewed it, and I think they gave it like a 7 out of 10, and now they're obviously upgrading that and everything. But like the problem that a lot of these other devs are having is that they'll give a game like Baldur's Gate that opportunity where it's in early access and they treat it like it's a full release, but when it finally does go full release with all the great updates, they start over and give it that fair, review. Whereas a lot of these other games will come out and they're advertised and sold as early release games, not a full game, not a complete game, and they score it and grade it and talk about it as if it is a complete game and never go back to it. So,
That seems like an issue.
yeah, so like there are a lot of devs in my feed like giving them a little bit of hell this week, deservedly so. But I've also heard that like a lot of these people at IGN, like they've got so many games coming in that they just play a little bit, and that's all you got, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, you can't try to be everything to everyone. Like if you're going to commit to something, commit to it, you know? Like do it right, do it the way it's supposed to be done, and then, you know, give, because these are real people and their real lives are affected by this. So you can't like you can't just like throw out this terrible score for a game that's not even done, and by right they have a right to have a game that's incomplete because that's the way they're selling it, early access. So I don't know. it was something that I saw, and I've barely been on Twitter. I've been drive-by Twittering lately, because we've just been out and enjoying Chicago and stuff like that. So,
Of course.
you know,
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. This to me is why it's so important for developers to support independent creators who are trying to do game reviews, who are doing coverage. That's why when a new game comes out, I never go to IGN if I'm trying to
yeah,
figure out who am I going to look at. The biggest channel I'll look at is like a Game Ranks. I like their before their buy stuff, but I'll go to a Skill Up. Somebody like that. An individual creator who I can rely on, who I know is not afraid to completely nuke a game out of existence if it deserves it, and who's just generally fair, rather than trusting these big faceless corporations, because I feel like it's more authentic that way, and I'm probably going to get a more honest take, and that's why I think creators like that are so important, because if you only rely on these bigger entities, you're probably not going to get a really accurate picture of a lot of these releases. Especially in the past, when games have released in horrible states, when they were advertised the opposite. That's famously with Cyberpunk. There was a lot of red flags for Cyberpunk, but if unless you were listening to like independent creators, you weren't going to see it coming, like like
right.
that's the problem. That's on the other end of that. You obviously want games that are open and honest about being in early access to get a fair shake, but at the same time, you also don't want companies that are going to cover up for games that are so marketing themselves as a full and complete game, and are and are nowhere near that. So that's why I think the independent creators are so important to that effort, because I when it comes to stuff like that, I'll check out Game Informer as a content creator, but from just a consumer standpoint, I would rather go to pretty much anyone before IGN. So,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
I honestly cannot tell you the last time I read anything on IGN, to the point where, like, I honestly do not understand how they are still a functioning platform. Like, there can't, like, at over time, like, it's something that I feel like I run into a little bit. I've had a big following over the years,
Right.
and over time, people start drifting away, and that's fine. I get it. I understand.
Of course.
And that's the same thing with IGN. And I just don't understand how they're able to stay relevant when there's so many. There's like the whole industry has changed, where these big faceless conglomerate sites are not as important as they used to be. So I just don't know how they stay relevant, because I don't feel like they do enough to drive attention, or to take attention from the younger crowd, the younger audience. And I
Mm.
feel like everybody our age like just shits on them.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we can credit it to kind of like their YouTube presence. IGN has adapted to the digital space pretty well. They are very large, and part of that, they've been able to leverage that into having a wide variety of channels and shows and different topics, and they're covering different games and different genres. So doing that somewhat competently, you can say what you will about the reviews, but they at least have well produced videos and presentations. So I think that's allowed them to stay relevant. That, and they're not polarizing in the way that Kotaku is, for example.
Yeah.
Kotaku is hasn't really branched out as in terms of digital. They're basically just a website, and because they're so polarizing, they pretty much just get shit all over, and it's much harder to maintain a website as it is if
Yeah.
you're in this space. So I think the whole being mainly a video platform now has really benefited IGN, to as a extension of their main website. And they haven't, a lot of people don't, you get the sense that a lot of people don't like them. They still get a lot of traffic. If you see their trailers, you see the stuff they upload, people still tune in, people still engaged, they're still relevant. They don't step on too many toes, here and there. Like with the Hogwarts Legacy, they were kind of just literally just fence sitting. they
we lost Sadot.
I'm still here.
Oh, you sounded a little like you're kind of gargling water a little bit.
This is weird.
And you locked up for a second there.
Let me see. Yep, I'm still. Yep,
you're there now.
All right, good. Yeah, it's good. But yeah, I think credit IGN for being able to adapt. But me personally, I definitely would not. I definitely don't get my gaming recommendations from the dude. I'll look at user feedback, on social media. I'll look at Skill Up, that type of person, and I'll judge from there.
Yeah, I think about some of the events that I've been to, and I can't say I remember ever running into anybody from IGN. Like, I know at the Royal Rumble, I met a guy from Game Informer, and we vibed a little bit. But I don't remember anybody IGN.
Yeah, so. IGN is but
maybe that's because they like to get like the white glove treatment. Like, you got to come to them; they're not coming to you.
Yeah, that's probably it. So, what else are you looking forward to are you a Alan Wake 2 guy?
No, they had a behind closed doors at Summer Game Fest, and I heard people like I did a demo with Samsung with something that I think actually I just got the press release for it yesterday. I'd have to go digging for it, but yeah, here it is. Samsung announces pre-order for the Freestyle Gen 2 with Gaming Hub. It was like basically this small little portable projector, full HD. It was incredible. And it had the like Samsung Game Hub built into it. I literally played Fortnite on this thing in a tent, like just sitting down, and the tent was the screen, and I was sitting there playing Fortnite on it. It was insane. So while I was waiting for that, I heard people going in and out of the Alan Wake behind closed door demo, including Hip Hop Gamer, who you could hear across the parking lot.
Of course.
I say that with respect and reverence.
Shout out to Hip Hop Gamer.
Yeah, he is a legend in this field. But he is very loud, and I'm sure he would cop to that, So yeah, I didn't get to see it myself, but I didn't really play the first game.
Was it good word of mouth?
Everybody that came out of that demo was hyped, so it seems like it's going to be something that people are into.
I didn't play the first one either, but I did play Control, which is part of the Alan Wake cinematic universe. What I found out later, like you had Alan Wake, and then you had Control, which takes place in like the same universe and is connected to some of the events from that game, which I found out later over the course of playing Control. But Control was so good that it made me curious to go back and like revisit Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And I think I may do that. I think they might be able to get Alan Wake, the first one, on PlayStation Plus or something. I gotta check on that. But yeah, Control is absolutely fantastic. I definitely recommend that to anyone that hasn't already. And I am definitely curious about it. I'll give it a shot, see if I like it, because Alan Wake 2 looks good. I mean, I saw some people when they showed the reveal trailer saying, "Oh, Alan woke," and I'm just like, guys, just because black people exist in a game doesn't mean it's woke. Like, come on.
Oh my god, I don't know why what you just said made me think of this, but obviously we remember the Alabama riverboat situation.
How could we forget?
So my guys, the New Day on Monday Night Raw, they came dressed up as people from that cruise,
Oh my god.
and they were walking around with white steel chairs, and they were arguing with these guys, Drew McIntyre and some other guy, and they're arguing, and like it's so funny when they're done. All you hear is Kofi go, "Move your boat," and it was very clear what they were doing.
They throw his hat up in the air dramatically.
No, none of them are wearing a hat.
Oh, that's
And Xavier Woods has dreads for the first time ever, or I don't know if they were dreads or if they were braids, but whatever. But a different look for him that I can remember.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I just saw that, and it was so it was great.
They are third person action games. Alan Wake. Alan Wake is more of a third person, kind of like a mystery story driven game with some action. Alan Wake 2, based on a gameplay demo, looks like more of a third person action in the realm of Control. Control is really good. Story driven, very very psychological, lot of mystery, really cool visuals. It's third person. You have your pistol, and you can get different weapons because it's like a weird sci-fi weapon that morphs, so you can get different types of guns as you upgrade. And she also has telekinetic powers, which is very cool. I wish more games allowed you to have telekinetic powers, because those are some of my favorites just ever. And I had a ton of fun with that game. Definitely will recommend it. But not curious about Final Fantasy Rebirth. I still haven't finished Final Fantasy 16. but apart from Spider-Man 2, since Jeff said he's looking to this is more about updates on previous games, there's definitely, and there's obviously still going to be world premieres, but I'm waiting for an update on that Wonder Woman game from Monolith. What's been going on with that, Mr. WB?
When I was at WB Games Montreal, there was a girl that talked to me wearing a Wonder Woman Monolith T-shirt that loved my actually my unboxing of this guy. Do we need the opening night live on the screen anymore?
We can.
Yeah, this guy, which I got offered $1,000 for this. But
obviously you turned it down because what's $1,000 to a shock blast?
Trust me, I wish I could have said yes to it. But I also enjoy working with WB Games, and they're super rare, and I don't want it tracked back to me. But she loved I guess she like did the whole program for that.
Oh,
and she loved my video for it. So she saw me from kind of across the office. It came over and was like, "You're Jayshockblast, right?" I'm like, "Ooh, you're here to see me?" And she told me about that, and she was wearing a Wonder Woman shirt. That's all I've seen about Wonder Woman since then.
You heard it. You heard it first. Wonder Woman confirmed. But
I think
Wonder Woman will have Star Wars in there confirmed.
So what I think happens, and a lot of people, I know this frustrates a lot of people, they'll announce these games super early and show off like next to nothing.
Yeah.
It's basically an advertisement saying, "Hey, we're hiring."
Pretty much, yeah.
This is the game we're working on. Submit your resume. We're hiring. Like, it's actually more of a marketing push towards getting new employees in to work on the game. So whenever you see a game like that get announced super early, same thing with Wolverine. That's what they're doing.
Basically, when I see a game like that, I'm like, okay, if they don't give a release window like they did for Spider-Man, and that was a difference. Spider-Man 2 got a release window during that showcase of 2023, whereas Wolverine didn't get one. So that was, to me, that's a signal to studios saying, okay, basically we're hiring and don't expect to hear anything about this for another 2 years. Yeah, but it's been over 2 years. Wonder Woman came out. Wonder Woman had teaser, and they showed more than some of the other games. Like the Black Panther game basically was just it was barely couldn't call that a trailer. They basically just showed a graphic of the Black Panther logo with some African music, and that was pretty.
But I feel like that's exactly what they were doing too. It's like, or even more so, Motive, EA Motive. I know for a fact that when they announced Iron Man, that's exactly what they were going for. Is, hey, we're hiring, because then you see one of the writers is advertising like a co-writer job, like one of those jobs. Because I only know that because I know my buddy Chris Baker was very interested in that, and I know he was. I hope he got involved with that, but yeah, I definitely think that I know it's hard for gamers because we want what we want, the heart wants what it wants, and we all want to go out there and get these games right away and play them now. But there is a process, and part of it involves campaigning for new hires.
Yeah, and yeah, that's why I'll kind of set my expectations accordingly.
Right.
So like with the Iron Man game for Motive, so we knew about that game because someone was talking to Jeff Grubb, so he got the scoop on that, and the Black Panther, and they had, at that point, they've been working on it for about 8 months, and then they got the official announcement, and they showed a little screenshot, and they basically called it that. So I would not be surprised if we got a Black Panther sizzle reel at Gamescom or something like that, maybe feature game show for Iron Man, similar to how they did Black Panther. If they want to do a little extra push. But Wonder Woman, I definitely feel like we're due, because it came out, they did that reveal, gave us a little, even let us see the character model. So
hey, t-shirts have been made.
T-shirts have been made. This was 2021, same year we got the Wolverine reveal, same year we got the Spider-Man 2 reveal. Spider-Man 2 is actually releasing this year in a few months. So I feel like it's reasonable to expect a Wonder Woman update before the year is up.
I hope so. I do talk to some WB people quite frequently, and I haven't even thought to ask about it because it's been
co-host.
But yeah, well, it's like one of those things, out of sight, out of mind, and you just don't think of it until.
If it was Superman, I bet you would.
No, if it was Batman Ninja, I'd be all over it. Listen, you guys don't even understand the depths of which my Batman Ninja. I'm actually ready to retire my Batman Ninja jokes, because the other day I was scrolling through my phone, and all of a sudden I just see Uncaged Games replying to something that Alan Johnson from WB tweeted, and he goes, "But what would you say if it was Batman Ninja in feudal Japan?" And I just looked at my wife and said, "He's talking about me." So I responded, "Thought you could slip this one by me, huh?" And then Caboose just tagged at Jayshockblast. And listen, it's my inside joke from when we went to WB Montreal.
I think we should keep that going forever. I think we should put that under every WB post.
Yeah, and then I might have kept it going in Summer Games Fest, and yeah, so there will be more stories about that.
I maintain
maybe on the next episode.
I maintain that's a great idea for a game.
I really and truly believe it, and they can have it for free, but also make a Superman game.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please. But no, think about it, and actually, think about it. That art style is amazing, and it's what so many people love, that anime art style. And Batman Ninja and all the characters in that anime translate very well into a video game.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like, especially with how much people love Batman, that especially how successful a lot of these, feudal Japan style era games have been, to the point where now we're even finally getting Assassin's Creed to go to that era, and we've got
Which is also going to be at Gamescom, Assassin's Creed.
yeah, and that's actually, there's even a controversy to that, because apparently it's a black samurai. Uh yeah, and everybody's like, woke, Assassin's Creed woke, but it's based on an actual real person in history from like the 9th century. There was actually a black samurai warrior in Japan.
History
And
is woke.
I know, like I saw
Idiots.
yeah, I just, it's crazy though. Like, I want to hear that story though.
I
Like,
would love to hear this.
how did a black man get to Japan to become a samurai in that culture? Like, I want to know that story,
And have these plebs never seen Afro Samurai? It's a
right?
classic anime.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, I don't know, man. But I don't even remember how we got there. But Batman Ninja, that's how. Yeah. So it's a little running joke that we have. I actually gave the head of WB Montreal and about 47 other employees, but specifically the head of WB Montreal, an actual elevator pitch on in an elevator for a Batman Ninja game in feudal Japan. But it only started because Uncaged and Caboose kept trying to pitch, why aren't we getting a Superman game? So
Funny Eastwood brings this up. This is literally a video that I made on my channel as part of my perfect game pitch series, where I give my pitch for a concept of a superhero game that I feel like everyone would love. My most recent one was for a Justice League game in the style of Marvel's Avengers, but done correctly. Jayshockblast doesn't have any insight. He tells me everything, but I know the DC game that WB Games is working on is supposed to be single player and set in the DC universe. That's why people thought it might be Superman. So I don't think we're going to get it. I think the closest we're unfortunately going to get to a JL game is going to be hunting them down as members of the Suicide Squad. Unfortunately.
yeah, hopefully.
Assuming that game actually comes out.
Yeah.
Now it's 2024 February. We'll see. I mean, just think if they hadn't gotten completely dunked on at the State of Play, I'd be doing live streams of Suicide Squad Killer Justice League right now. We'd be probably talking about the next DLC, or
And everybody probably would have loved it.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But I feel like something is changing. It's never going to fully change, but I feel like people are starting to push back against this kind of cult-like behavior. I don't know, like I found out, like, with Mortal Kombat, like the community manager, one of the community managers, Stallion, his name's Corey, dude I've met a few years ago at a Mortal Kombat event. He's become a pretty good friend. I tweeted the other night on Monday, there's a wrestler named Shinsuke Nakamura, and he's teasing a heel turn, and I just tweeted something like, "Ooh, evil Shinsuke could work really well." And he responded, "Okay, I'll be that guy. It's already happened." Because when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he had an evil gimmick, and he posted a picture of it. So that was cool. That was great. Just two guys having a wrestling conversation.
Yep.
So like the next day, I'm like, Tuesday, I'm like, in between traveling, some weirdos like are going through his replies and responding to him on my tweet, and they're like asking like why they can't preload the demo for Mortal Kombat, and he didn't respond. So I thought I was being nice, and I was just like, it's probably because of PlayStation, Like they
Oh
can,
yeah, I saw that
they have no control over this.
that cringe exchange.
Yeah, like they have no control of this. I wasn't even being sarcastic or anything, and like him and his friend lose their fucking mind, and it got to the point where you actually, and you know it's real when Sadot actually gives me an attaboy publicly, okay? He quote
Yes, I did.
tweeted and he goes, "I would like to report a homicide." And I took that as the ultimate compliment because he's not going to give me credit for anything.
Damn right I
But
won't.
the guy's like, "Oh, this is why you're not going to amount to anything, animal fucker." And I'm like, "You're probably right." And I just tweeted pictures of me at Summer Game Fest playing Mortal Kombat. So, and then I also said, I hope it breaks and you never get to play it. So
that's the best you could. That's the best you could.
but
And since Elon Musk is apparently removing the block button, the best you can do now is just publicly dunk on these people.
yeah, or I guess mute them. He's like, that's the dumbest shit. Is I could go into another tirade into
Mute.
that.
Well, I'll say this: Elon Musk, you're a dickhead.
Like I'm not one of those. I don't love Elon Musk. I've never followed him before. I never cared about him before, or anything like that. But I also do feel like there are a lot of people that have overreacted to literally everything he does.
For sure. I'm not
I'm
one of the people that are like, I'm going to Threads every time he farts. But his take on the block button
is one of the worst I've ever read.
One of the dumbest I've ever seen on this website, and that's saying something.
Yeah, easily in the Hall of Fame of bad takes. Like, yes, it does serve a purpose, and like, how dare you like take people's peace of mind away? Ironically, he blocks people all the time.
And he gets, and I'm thinking he may have realized how many people are blocking him, and felt some type of way about it because the idea that someone who actually uses the block button but would say there's no function of it, yes, there is, it's not just for people who just don't want to have any feedback. There are very real weirdos on Twitter who post horrible, disgusting things consistently about people, and by blocking them, not only do you not have to see their replies, they can't spam your tweets,
right,
and put anything on there. Now if you mute them, you can't see that, but their posts are still visible. So for example, if they want to post something anti-Semitic or racist, they could just spam that under your tweet now, and
you don't see it, unless somebody interacts with it.
Yeah, but if you block them, they can't access your tweets at all. But now, if you remove the block button, they have free reign. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is nonsense. But yeah, I don't even know how we got here. We usually tend to.
I'm sad that Mark Zuckerberg didn't get to choke him out. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, well, honestly, I would be rooting for like the ring to explode.
I root for a meteor.
I don't think there's a good guy in that exchange.
No, but this is definitely a classic case of the South Park conundrum of the turd sandwich versus the giant douche, which was still the best description of our election process.
That is a fact.
But maybe I'll make I would probably just not use social media, not use Twitter before I make a Threads account or something.
I mean, I've made all the accounts just to have them, but like they're all dead.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered to make them because I knew those platforms would be dead within like 3 days, and I just don't have the bandwidth. But yeah, this one I feel like he's going to reverse on this one. I think he's going to get just so thoroughly shit on for this position.
And to be fair, he has done that before. He has come out, said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," and then not done it because you realize, oh shit, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I feel like this one is definitely doomed for a oopsie.
Yeah. About that.
After listening to your feedback, we're not doing this. But the other thing for Gamescom we got besides potentially Wonder Woman is the announcement of that DC game that we're looking forward to. We are hoping it's Superman. Maybe it's Superman. Maybe it's future Japan Batman. But it feels like Superman. It could be Superman. I mean, it could be Green Arrow. We have no idea. It's a single player. It's DC. It's Unreal Engine 5. So that doesn't exactly narrow it down, but I feel like this is definitely the showcase. You know, either that or the future game show. I feel like they got to reveal it. They got to reveal it.
See, that's the thing. I feel like that seems like a Game Awards reveal, like a big DC game.
Big as a game where I feel like I think they would do it at Gamescom.
Maybe. Well, I don't know because
Gamescom's pretty big.
Yeah,
I can see Game Awards as well, but I feel like Gamescom. And I think someone mentioned that they thought they saw Gotham Knights in the sizzle reel, but I couldn't
because they showed it before.
Yeah, I couldn't confirm that. I couldn't find it. The only thing I saw was that Jeff said he was still working on editing a scissor reel.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see them doing it at either Gamescom or the Game Awards for sure. But I feel like Gamescom would definitely be a pretty nice little platform for that announcement because they did start working. Reported as far as we know, they had some job postings for it in December. And so I think we're getting closer to the time where they'd be like, okay, time to announce it. Get the word out there. We're hiring. Bring the people in. This is what we're doing next.
Well, I hope the next WB game that gets announced is a Lego game.
Yeah, Jay needs his Legos.
I need a Lego game so bad. Like, I mean, there are rumors. I don't know. It's tough for me because like I have a really good relationship with TT Games,
right?
Not just WB, but like TT Games is so great, and they've always been great to me. So I don't love dealing with speculation, but there have been like some. So a year ago, when I was actually in Montreal, I thought there's a rumor that the next game was going to be Lego Disney Mickey and Friends, which sounds great to me. And I seem to get the vibe that there might be some heat there. But since then, it seems like it's going to be Lego Harry Potter, kind of like the Star Wars Skywalker saga, where it's all the movies like the Skywalker saga.
I would absolutely get that.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And as we all know, there is no controversy around Harry Potter whatsoever.
Of course. So this
because
will be
Hogwarts Legacy is still one of the top selling games. Like as of last month, like it was in the top 5.
And it's still one of the top games of all time now.
Yeah, it's a huge seller.
And it's still funny enough, because I see this occasionally on Twitter. It's like last night it was like at almost 7,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Oh wow!
And I see these tweets like it's just such cope where it's like, look at this. It's at 7,000 concurrents now, and it had a peak of like 1 million. Oh, look how. Was it worth it? And I'm like, yeah, it's one of the best selling games of all time, and the fact that a single player game still has 7,000 concurrent players.
Yeah, after everybody beat the game already.
Literally more than 6 months after.
Yeah.
after I think it's at 6 months at this point since it came out almost, and there's been no DLC, no big updates.
Nothing,
no expansions. It's not multiplayer like Elden Ring, and the fact that it still has 7,000 concurrents on Steam is crazy.
Yeah, and also keeping in mind that a game like that is bigger on console, and I know that they just finally released. They haven't released it on Switch yet, so it's going to get another burst of sales when that comes out. But I mean, I think a Lego Harry Potter game like that would be incredible. I have done very limited amount of gameplay from the Lego Harry Potter games because they came before they started updating the way you could change your character. In that game, you have to actually walk up to them and change, and that sucks. Like it's not a good process. Having an actual window you can go into and just pick whoever you want, much better.
Yeah.
So that game would definitely benefit from a massive, production like
Oh, for sure.
what Skywalker Saga was.
I
Plus,
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not a Lego guy, and
yeah,
I enjoy Skywalker Saga, even though I hated the Disney movies that
yeah.
came
Listen,
later.
they're just fun
Yeah, they
games
were
that
fun.
tell a good story, that we all love.
If it's that quality, but all the Harry Potter movies, oh my god,
Yeah, and plus they did have Fantastic Beast stuff in Lego Dimensions, so they could probably sneak that in there too. I had also heard a rumor that they might do a Lego Batman 4, which I would also obviously love,
of
but
course.
it's funny. I had a conversation with someone recently about, it sucks because like it used to be there were two Lego games a year. There's the one big one and then something smaller like Lego The Incredibles or
Mhm.
something like that. And now it's been like over the last 5 years has been one game. And it's just I feel like that is one of the biggest things that has slowed me down because even though there's other stuff I can pivot to and other stuff I can do that has carried me and has always carried me, like there's no secret the Lego games have been the biggest part of my channel.
You're literally living in a house that Lego built.
Yeah, that I say that all the time, and yeah, obviously if I had that same flow going, as they had, the previous 5 years where there was just content every other week, it seemed like. I think I might be at 500,000 subs,
Probably will
um,
be.
so but I'm at a point where I'm gonna roll with it. I know who I am. I know what makes me happy. I know what I want to do, and I'm just gonna keep doing that. And I know I'm doing some things the wrong way according
Boomer,
to the way YouTube wants it to be done. But
sure.
it's I have to be me, you know, and that's what we're gonna go with. So
I respect it. There's also a YouTube trick that I heard recently that I got to tell you about.
okay.
I'll tell you off. I'll tell you
I
off
mean,
here.
I listened to you, and I've been trying some of your methods.
This one is purely about increasing your revenue. This is
Oh, okay.
yeah, this is definitely a hack. I'll tell you the DMs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after the show.
All right. Cool. I've already
But
traded you a Mortal Kombat 1 beta code in your DM. So
yep. So fair exchange. But yeah, I'm like for me, my channel is basically around the superheroes. I need a constant supply of superhero news and games to keep my audience satisfied. Jayshockblast,
yeah,
and
been called worse.
this year has been great. We got Spider-Man 2, so I have plenty. We got some good reviews around Iron Man, The Last Ronin, which I'm currently reading, and Black Panther. So as long, but it would have been my plan this year was a bit messed up because I was like, all right, Spider-Man 2 and Suicide Squad are going to be my big games for 2023. And Spider-Man 2, that ended up happening. Suicide Squad, not so not so much. I was planning on making Suicide Squad basically my Avengers replacement. A game that I because it's live service, it's multiplayer, so I can do news coverage leading up to it, and then we do do streams and builds and all the good stuff and Avengers, and then Marvel Spider-Man 2 would be the thing I do news coverage on and speculation and everything like that before doing the let's play cycle. But now because Suicide Squad got pushed, it's been more heavily Spider-Man focused. So I'm hoping for more superhero updates starting next week if possible. There's hope it will be Wonder Woman, but also we haven't heard anything in a while about that Skydance new media game. with Captain America and Black Panther. They did a trailer 2021, I think, as well, and we haven't really heard anything at all. I've like literally nothing at all. I haven't heard anything about hirings. I haven't heard anything about news updates. It's been dead silent. I haven't been looking around. I haven't heard a thing, not a leak, not a rumor. Have you heard anything?
No, again, it might have just been one of those things where, that's the Amy Hennig one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might just be something where they were trying to, build the team.
Yeah, because it's weird. Because I was like, leading up to that, we'd heard that this is basically a game they've been working on for 2 years, and they were excited because Amy from her Uncharted experience, and then we finally got that reveal trailer, and it's like, okay, this could be cool, and then we haven't heard. That has been kind of nothing. So I think we're definitely due for some kind of an update about that game, maybe at Gamescom. Who
Maybe.
who knows?
I think another thing to keep in mind, COVID is still
a thing.
Like that 3-year period, like, impacted the next 5 years of gaming on top of like the time that it was happening, like it really just slowed everything down, and we're still feeling the effects of that. And it's not like it's not a crutch, it's not an excuse, it's just reality. And I've been to a few studios, and W Montreal, for example, empty. I had never been there before, but it's very clear that the way everything was set up, that it was meant to be way bigger staff, way more people. There were so many empty desks.
Absolutely. Certain studios, like I know EA adapted, and they went to this like super streamlined model, which is how they got Jazz Survivor out so quickly. But I know I heard that basically the reason why we have MK1 instead of another Injustice game is in large part because of the pandemic. They were basically they were dealing with the pandemic. They had to shift engines, and they ended up just saying, you know what, it'll be more time efficient to just crank out another Mortal Kombat game rather than do another Injustice game. So we'll just put that on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specifics of that, but
that was from Ed Boon interview. I saw Caboose made a video about it, and I thought it was interesting because I still haven't played Injustice. I haven't installed. I still haven't played it.
Yeah, that was the game that really got me into fighting games. Injustice, Gods Among Us, and then because of that, I got MKX, and then obviously Injustice 2, and then Mortal Kombat 11. And it's funny you mentioned Caboose. I don't know if you saw this, but at Evo, he got into some heat with unnecessary heat.
Oh yeah, we were talking. We were dunking on
all the idiots,
the MK community briefly over this.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. Like, I've been to NetherRealm. I got to go to the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal. I've got to go right as COVID was starting. I got to go out, and I was supposed to meet Todd McFarlane. And who's the voice? Is Keith David the voice of Spawn? Who is
in
everything?
In everything?
Like whoever the voice of Spawn is, super popular. But they were both supposed to be there. I'm on my flight to Chicago. It gets canceled, and it's just crazy. So like, but I've been on all these things, and these people are giving Caboose a hard time. Listen, trust me, I enjoy these games, but I don't know who 75% of the Mortal Kombat roster is. Okay. I
So
know some characters. I definitely don't know their history. And I'm sorry that for a second he thought that Azra, who I'd never even heard of, okay, was Devora.
oh
Like,
man,
God forbid. Okay.
lucky you weren't at Evo.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
but
would
like,
have roasted you.
well, it wasn't even him, it was Maximilian too. Maximilian, one of the, like, I would say top 5 fighting games accounts on all of social media. Like, just an absolute monster in the industry. Like, literally just had himself and his dog put in one of these fighting games. I think it was like the Riot Games one.
Yeah,
Um,
and he got it wrong for a second.
like literally a second.
He corrected himself like a few seconds later.
Yeah. So it's wild to me. And it's funny though, like, because I knew like Lego Jurassic World was one of those games that opened my eyes, okay? Because you mispronounce some of these dinosaur names. I'll tell you, you'll never hear the end of it, but it also drives engagement. So I didn't mind it.
Yeah, you
If I
do it on purpose. Do it. That's
if I didn't know how to make like the Mosasaurus or something like that. Like
YouTube YouTube trick, old school YouTube trick.
yeah, just
Say something wrong on purpose to
yeah.
drive engagement.
So sometimes like I'll say like noob Cybot, you know, or
Yeah.
something like that, because they love correcting you. But you
And
say it right and you get like no comments, you know?
yeah, so really just lean into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you gotta do it. Yeah,
Yeah, but that whole thing is like, honestly, gaming culture is wild in general now.
people they don't realize gaming is hard. Like especially games are taking longer now. It's a lot. Like the idea of Insomniac just loading up on all these Marvel titles and doing a big team up game sounds cool, but doesn't sound like anything remotely close to what they're planning. You know, the last I heard that Insomniac is a large studio, but they're not, Ubisoft large. You know, they've got like,
Yeah.
I think they got like 500 employees now. They've upgraded, and from what the community managers have said, they're basically focused on their big team is focused on Wolverine and Marvel Spider-Man 2 right now, and they're also working on an original IP that's going to be a multiplayer game, and that's pretty much the extent of what they have in their plans right now. So so I know Marvel themselves said that they rejected the idea of doing like uh MCU extension to the gaming, because of just the logistics of that. Which is why I was surprised that James Gunn even mentioned that as a possibility, because I mean, as we've seen from DC so far, it's hard enough for them to just get a movie off the ground. But imagine coordinating that with the how volatile the video game industry is, like doing like I can't imagine it would be like too coherent of a tie-in, especially trying to wrangle actors. If you're trying to have the same actors do voice acting for the game too, like having to organize that for your movies and your shows, and then the game on top of that seems like a nightmare.
Yeah. I agree. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm just you would think that as things got better, people would just be more understanding and willing, to let it ride and just let them do what they do. But it's like now. Tell me.
Now, and while I agree toxic gamers suck, there are times when it's okay to shit on the game,
I'm
and
not saying that, but like,
that leads us into this segment where I'm looking forward to, because this is your first time seeing it. We got the
oh
official
god.
announcement trailer for The Walking Dead Destinies, releasing on all platforms: PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, notably PlayStation 4. Keep that in mind before you see this. Now I have access to an extension on Firefox that lets me see. I'm on Chrome right now, but I have access to an extension that lets me see the dislike ratio.
Oh,
it's not good on this one. That's all I'll say about this. But we'll roll it, and I'm curious with the thoughts. We'll just react to it in real time. I'm curious what your expert opinion on this.
Now don't panic. No one is going anywhere. Last thing we need is for everyone to be running off in the dark.
Now, keeping in mind, I am not a big Walking Dead fan.
In this group together, alive. And I've been doing that all along. No matter what. I didn't ask for this.
So I just want to say, as a former Walking Dead fan, this voice acting is egregious.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Jesus Christ. I mean, here's a little screen. Here's a little pause. What do you think of the graphics in this shot so far, Jay?
I mean, listen, we every single game, I feel like people are like, oh, PS3 graphics. First time I would agree.
Yeah, that's literally the first time. Like, because I was thinking of all the people who are saying mainly Xbots who are saying Spider-Man 2 looks like a PS3 game, but this is the first time where I looked at a new game, was like one of the first times I was like, yeah, this is accurate.
I killed my best friend for you people.
What was that? You're my best friend for these people.
I think that was supposed to be Shane. What?
I mean, I don't have any frame of reference for what that means, but I can just tell you, just hearing it.
I think I think this is supposed to be Rick. It's hard to tell who this is supposed. I think it's supposed to be Rick narrating, and I hope this isn't the actor. If it is, this is once again proves my point why James Gunn's idea is stupid, and you should not try to get the people who do their movies and the shows to also do the voice acting for animation and video gaming, because they're very different skills.
Yeah.
as we've seen, I mean the graphics obviously look like shit, but you could be like, okay, well, it's not meant to be like high quality AAA graphics. God, I hope this is like a $30 game, but the voice acting, I mean, even Thor is upset.
Yeah, he's very upset. He's watching it like he was watching Lejeune talk about honeypots.
the honey tablets. Shout out to those honey packs. Allowing cheeks to be clapped. But I mean, wow, that was egregious. I mean, I killed my best friend for you. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What? Oh, wow. We'll look at the comments. They're pretty great.
We'll go on. There's the door. Let's see how far you get.
This is the whole big point behind this game. You can change the narrative of the series. Now, see, the idea of this game was really good. Like I like The Walking Dead. I mean, the first 3 seasons mainly, I thought they were basically peak, and then it fell off, but had some highs and lows, and eventually there was just so much Walking Dead content. I just kind of checked out, but the idea, the core story is really good, and I love zombie games. I've been playing a lot of World War Z, as frustrating as it is sometimes, but I love the idea of an open world zombie game. That's why people love still, were having hopes for The Day Before, even though that game's obviously a scam. But when they pitched the idea of like a third person, open world Walking Dead game where you basically can play your favorite characters from the series and rewrite the narrative as you see fit. That sounds cool to me. But as always, it's not about the idea, it's the execution.
Right. Yeah, because I was saying that as I saw that scene right there in its PS2 glory, I was thinking like, oh, this is an interesting concept though.
Yeah, like if they had made this game but made it look like it was from 2022 at least, I think they have a hit on their hands. But unfortunately we got this, and it just reeks of like I know this can be overdone. Gamers say lazy devs and cash grabs and everything like that, but this definitely feels like a Gollum type of effort where it's hard to find the effort, and you're just thinking this definitely felt like, okay, they have the IP and they just wanted to shit something out real quick.
Yeah.
Because I mean the voice acting is horrendous, and this is for the trailer, so they presumably picked like the best sample that they could, because this is your scissor reel, this is how you're pitching the game, you're putting your best foot forward here, and the best we got is some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard, and definitely some PS2 era graphics. As you see, they're just getting absolutely lit up in the comments. Here's the IGN video. I think this is the one I was watching, where they were just getting absolutely demolished. I mean, imagine the game with AAA graphics. Imagine
you can't decide between this or the Sopranos game for PS2.
Oh my! Like this is pretty bad. I'm going to hope and pray they really take all the time that's need to make this game great. It's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Like it's a great, because it really is a great idea,
right?
But holy shit, the execution.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned a Walking Dead game, right? Because I got to play a Walking Dead game like 2 weeks ago, and it's funny watching the graphics for this compared to the graphics for the one that I got to play. And when we're done highlighting some of these awful comments, I could show you.
Yes, please do, because holy this game.
All right, so the game I got to play was called The Walking Dead Betrayal, and keeping in mind, I'm not necessarily the biggest Walking Dead fan. Like I said, this is like Among Us, okay? But with The Walking Dead, and you like get to create your own character. I got to play with the devs. It's based on a game called Project Winter, and it's a small dev team.
Right.
And it was so much fun. Like, of course, I don't know why it's taking forever here, but if you've ever played Among Us, there's like a crew and there's imposters, and it's kind of the same theme here. Believe it or not just a
skill issue.
Yeah, apparently.
Believe it or not, I've never played Among Us, but I understand the basics.
Premise. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. It's like not like I have like lightning fast internet. Hold on.
There we go.
Maybe because it was full screen.
Hey, look, it's Jayshockblast.
Yeah, so basically you have a role. I was supposed to guard one of these guys, but you have like a role that you play in the game. Basically, this is the survivor camp, and it's not 100% safe. But here's me creating my character. It's not 100% safe. There is a wagon in there that you have to fix, and you have to go out into the environment and find all the parts you need and put it back together. But there's two people with you that are like trying to sabotage you, basically.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you don't know who they are. You can cast them out, but and you can build and craft weapons and all sorts of that while you're out there in the wild. But like, it's not hard. Like, it's not like far-fetched to say the graphics for this are as good as that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like, and this is a $20 game. Okay, it's not even like anything major. And obviously you got all the zombies trying to kill you, and you have to go out and search them, all these different things for the parts that you need. Like, you can kind of see yeah, right here that we need wooden spikes to finish what we're trying to build. And you got all your objectives here, and I'm just kind of like going around right now, trying to find where all the stuff is. I think I, in the end, get overwhelmed by zombies right here, and die. But
Skill
when you
issue.
die, you can actually come back as a zombie and like fight all the people that were on your team.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool. Like, there, I crafted a crossbow, and yeah, so like, listen, I appreciate the Walking Dead fandom. Oh, right here I'm picking berries because like my health is down. I need to like cook some food. But like, if you're the saboteur, you can actually put poison in the oven, so when somebody does that, they're actually gonna be poisoned too.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so like, it's just this really cool game of like, who do you trust? But we also voted somebody out, and they couldn't come back into town. And that dead body was the person,
Were they
because
black?
I let them back in. So I was like, "Oh, you voted him out. My bad. So let me just kill you."
Were they black or a female?
I don't. Can you tell over voice?
Yes.
They were not a female, and I'm sure they were not black.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway,
when they say a game is a work in progress, when they have a full trailer, that doesn't mean what you think it means. It means the game is pretty much done, and they're gonna fine tune some stuff, ideally. But the game is not going to be dramatically different than what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Unless they just come out and say, hey, we're gonna delay this for another 2 years, because that's what it would take to dramatically turn that one around. Because like games look rough when they're like in super early development, but when games are in that state, they don't get reveal trailers showing off gameplay or footage. Really, like if they're going to show a screenshot, they'll put one where it's like a closer to finished product, so that you can so they could put their best foot forward. This is them showing not only a story trailer, proof of concept, but full gameplay. So they're committed to this game, and this is what they got. This is their pitch for, hey, buy this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a Gollum vibe, which I understand why Walking Dead fans are so frustrated when it comes to gaming, because even though the game you show looks fun, that's pretty much the type of game we've gotten for Walking Dead. Like, we got that game, we got the Telltale games, and fans of the Walking Dead have wanted like a legitimate AAA console Walking Dead game, that really shows off the world and everything, and they just haven't had any. I don't understand why, with how big this franchise is and how successful zombie games have been. Why won't they just make a AAA console Walking Dead game? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like there's
literally make State of Decay with Walking Dead.
I just feel like there have been plenty of franchises like that. like Superman. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's just
like
one of those things.
not even Superman, because like Superman, like there's been a million excuses for why you can't make a Superman game, and some of them are about like it's not like when it comes to Superman game, you have to really think closely about balance and how you're going to structure the game. And obviously this is Jayshockblast you're talking. Jayshockblast has everything Mortal Kombat. He's Jayshockblast, he gets everything. But when it comes to The Walking Dead, it's a zombie game. It's a zombie story. Like, it's not rocket science to build a zombie game. There's a huge pool that you can draw from, from all sorts of genres, whether it's first person shooter, third person action, survival, multiplayer. You have so many games you can draw from. World War Z, State of Decay. We got the Dead Island series. You had State of Emergency back in the day, House of the Dead, Resident Evil. You've had all these examples of games, even where you can like draw inspiration from for a Walking Dead game, because because at the base of it, it's a zombie horror game, but they had the premise down pat. Like, this is a great premise, a Walking Dead game where you're like playing through certain parts of the story
Made by Chipmunks.
Unfortunately, they made it look like a PS1 game.
Yeah.
It was like, why?
And like, I think we're both pretty fair with stuff like that. And like, I especially don't like to disparage, because it's hard work to make video games.
Yeah, absolutely. But come on, guys.
That just seems a bit lacking.
Yeah, like now if that game is like $30, I'm like, okay, fair.
That's a little bit different.
Yeah, fair. But
that's why, like, with that Walking Dead Betrayal game, when you look at it, it's a $20 game. Your perspective changes.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is a cute indie game. It just happens to be The Walking Dead. All right, that's cool. And
if I see a $60 price tag, which I have a feeling I will, on that Destinies, I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, 70 on current gen.
No, if it's 70, oh Jesus Christ! Imagine, like, what? Yeah, wasn't Gollum 70 on PS?
I don't even remember.
I think it was. Like, holy shit! Like, come on, guys. Like, we're trying to. We in particular are on. We try to give developers the benefit of the doubt, because we understand and personally hate our fair share of gamers as well.
Yeah.
And we've actually talked to developers, so we have a behind the scenes perspective on what it takes, and also because we actually care and do this for a living, we do research on this, so we'll have more fair takes when it comes to this sort of stuff, because we understand. But this, come on.
Yeah, they look bad. That looked rough.
That looks awful.
Yeah. I would never have put a trailer out that looked like that, or sounded like that, especially.
Yeah, that's the most egregious. Like if this is like a $20, $30 game, whatever.
But here's the thing: Redfall, all of their stuff looked like it was going to be good. Like, this doesn't even do that.
Yeah, Redfall at least looked like a game from this century. Redfall, had issues with some people had issues with bugs, and there was like complaints about lack of enemy density, stuff like that. But this one, like when you don't even get the voice acting right, like, come on. Like, when it sounds like even the voice actors didn't care. Like, what are we doing? What is going on here? Like, come on. Like, the graphics, you're like, okay, if this is like a $20 game, who cares if the graphics aren't the best? It's available on PS4 and Xbox One. $20 game, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. But if this is available for PS5, and if the graphics and the voice acting is terrible, come on. This is not it. Like, the Walking Dead deserves better. I mean, this is not it.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Like, like after reading some Jason Schreier articles, I have a bigger understanding of how stuff like this happens. You know, and it could be various factors. It could be like a studio will have this mandate where like, hey, we need a cash grab, so you're gonna work on this game now. And maybe the developers are like, yeah, devs are like, yeah, I don't want to do that, and you know they'll go on to different projects. This is kind of the story of Redfall, where it was like, all right, we want you to we you know that type of game you like to make. Well, you're not going to do that. We need a live service cash grab. So we're gonna have you work on this, and the devs were reportedly like, yeah, we're not going to do that, and they left, and they had a bunch of issues trying to find people that they could recruit to work on this project, and then it changed hands. And
then it ended up not even having microtransactions.
Yeah, didn't even have microtransactions, but didn't have a lot of things. You know, yeah. Microsoft, despite acquiring the company, didn't do really any oversight. Didn't look into the game at all. Didn't investigate the.
Well, I feel like we've come to find out that they bought the company because of Starfield.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Starfield was about to be a PS5 exclusive. And they said, no, thanks. We're going to buy you.
Yeah. So now it's going to be in the interest of sharing the game to as many people as possible. It's going to be on Xbox and PC.
Well, hopefully it's a console seller.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, well, if you have a Samsung gaming hub, you can get yourself a Game Pass and stream it.
Exactly, and it's incredible. Like honestly, there have been a few presentations that I've gotten to see in tech that impressed me as much as that one did. And trust me, the hotel we were staying in, try watching like 3 in the morning. We like to let the TV run all night in the hotel.
As you should.
Yeah, and 4 in the morning, the freaking George Lopez show is on, where it's unintentionally looks like trying to sync up English dubs over Japanese actors, just
you killed my family. I can't. You will not defeat.
They had some kind of satellite service, and the audio is just jacked on every show we watched. Just about it was so out of sync. So yeah.
I was considering getting a gaming hub because the idea of getting an Xbox just didn't really appeal to me, because it's like it's pretty pricey, and there's really not any games I'm remotely interested in except for Starfield. So I feel like if I get a Samsung gaming hub, I can justify it, because it's like, okay, well, I'm upgrading my TV and I can play different stuff on it other than I can. And I don't have to commit to an Xbox, but I'm just getting a better TV and also the ability to play Game Pass games.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how you end up doing content around it, but I mean that's a good start. And especially if you're in the market for a new TV.
I mean, at this point, it feels like if I was going to make that decision, it should have been a while ago, because now people are already getting their review codes and are going to be doing their Starfield early access stuff. So at this point, it would be just for fun, but Starfield might have some, if Starfield does have legs and it has an Elden Ring type of longevity or beyond, it could be a game that you can just jump into and still make content around, even if you're not there at launch.
Yeah. I honestly, I've got it all downloaded. They did tell me in the email that once you accept it, you're allowed to say that you are going to be creating content for it, and so I am. And
I wonder how good it'll be to watch people, in terms of content, because this definitely feels like a niche type of thing. I know there's definitely a market for it, like the No Man's Sky people, they enjoy watching that, but I'm wondering how. But that's multiplayer. I'm wondering how the market will be for Starfield content if you're kind of just walking around. Like one of the people described their early experiences. They went to this water-based planet that they were just blown away by it, and they spent like 10 minutes contemplating life or something. And I'm like, how entertaining would that be to watch if you're streaming?
Well, I mean, I think it would go down to, are you a good creator or are you not? And I feel like if you are, if you're entertaining enough, you'll find a way to make it entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like it would probably be more interesting if you like did like a skit video where you're kind of like editing and doing some certain stuff. A live stream, yeah, you can have some fun with it. Like we'll see depending on the level. There's supposed to be a lot of customization, so this could be like kind of like a GTA thing where you can kind of do your own thing. Like you want to come see me be a pirate, or come see me hoard sandwiches like that one developer.
Yeah.
Like how many sandwiches can I stack?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to getting into it because it looks great.
I hope it does well for you. I'll definitely you check it out. I think when's the embargo? Like the 31st? I heard
30th, I think.
30th?
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about that. The 30th is the embargo, and I don't know. I have the email somewhere.
I heard it was the 31st. I heard it was like an hour. Because I heard people complaining it was like literally hours before early access people got.
Oh, you're right. Thursday the 31st, 12 p.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, because I heard people were complaining like, "Wow, that's literally like hours before the actual people actually get to play it."
Hey, you know what? There's been a lot of complaints, and I've seen people that I like respect. It's funny because when I was flying out to Chicago, I ran into this guy Rick, who's part of the PR team that Bethesda hires to manage all this. Okay. Right. And he was 3 people in front of me in line. I met him at Redfall, and he turns through the next part of security, and we're like face to face. I'm looking at him like, Rick? And he goes, "Oh, hey, Jay, how you doing?" And this is sick. This is like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning in Boston, and he's like randomly flying to Vegas. I'm going to Chicago, and so we're sitting there and we're just chatting and everything. And of course, we both sent out a tweet to Cammy, saying, "Hey, look who we found." And then, yeah, he was like, "If you don't hear anything by Monday, let me know." So I didn't have to do that.
Shout out to Gammy.
Oh, shout out to Rick.
And Rick.
But also Kim. But I saw some of her tweets today because it seems like this happens all the time. And I get it. The heart wants what it wants. We all love free. It's easy for me to say I got my code and you didn't. Not you specifically, but like other people.
Yeah, of course. I literally didn't want one because I don't have a way to play it.
I know, but just clarifying. Like, the amount of people that feel like they're owed game codes is insane to me. We are literally a dime a dozen, and anybody can do what we do. Yeah, I feel like we do it better. But it's wild to me to think, there has to be, there's so much that goes into getting approved for early access to a game. Okay. Yeah. You have to have some kind of rapport. You have to have some kind of established trust factor. You have to be like, it helps to have worked with the company before. Like, it is what it is. There are people that are legacy creators that have been doing it forever, that lost their fastball, and they get opportunities other people don't.
Off their reputation, which is fine because they've built that reputation.
Exactly, and it's not easy to build. And I just feel like yelling at, like, your test is how you take handling no. Like, absolutely. Your test is like, are you going to treat these people like people? Yeah. Even when they're not giving you what you're asking for.
I feel like those people definitely are showing why they didn't get the code. and because there's no reason to be disrespectful to the community managers or anyone like that, because they're just doing their jobs. They don't have that power. They can't give the codes.
They're not going to give everybody a code. You know,
it's not
there's
possible.
a line.
There's a line. There's a clear limit, especially when we're talking about console codes. You know, it's different than Steam codes. You know, this is like console codes. They're a limited supply, so they have to prioritize. So you gotta understand everyone is going to get it, and I understand some people being frustrated if you feel like you deserved it based on the type of content that you're making, and you see someone who you maybe has less subscribers, less views, not as good work as you, get the code, but is what is. Complaining to being toxic to the community manager is not going to endear you or get you.
No, it's going to do the exact opposite, because that's going to be their initial reaction or interaction with you, and that's what they're going to remember. They will remember that. I think about this story back when Mortal Kombat was sending out invites for the reveal. It was supposed to be secret, obviously. You weren't supposed to talk about it, but obviously people do, and people find out about it. And there was this one creator that I knew. I'm not going to say names, but it was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life. And in the years since, he's reached out to me because I said something. I usually stay out of that stuff, but like, he disrespected Cammy, and Alan.
That's a no-go.
Yeah, so badly that I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you didn't get invited. Like, I'm sorry. You need to cope with that. Like, they're flying people out to this event. They're not going to just fly everybody. Do I think maybe you deserve it as much as some of these other people? Sure. But like, bro, this is not the way. And he just lost his mind. And he was like, just over the top tweeting some like mean shit about it. And it's like, dude, are you really losing your mind because a gaming company isn't going to fly you to California to let you attend their event?
Yeah,
is that really what's happening?
That's a crazy amount of entitlement.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he was young, but like, and in the year, like in the last year, he reached out to me, and he's like, man, I was young and stupid back then, and I definitely regret a lot of that. Definitely got blackballed, like, they never worked with him again.
Of course.
And it's like, wow,
So, yeah, that's how it is. I mean, that's why you have to. That's why even if you're feeling some type of way in a moment, you have to think about it, rationally, and just in general, just not be an asshole. But because there's no reason to tweet at these people that type of stuff just because they didn't fly you out.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at Evo. Okay, like last week was Evo, and nobody got flown out for Evo. Okay, but like obviously I wanted to go. Everybody was like, dude, you got to come. I just couldn't pull it off. But seeing Caboose and Uncaged and Kenny Unruly, like seeing them just absolutely living life out there, seeing Ed Boon actually like tweeting and tagging them in tweets and like tweeting about them, like freaking Uncaged Games did a TikTok with Ed Boon. Like, how amazing is that for them? Like, how can you not, like, as people that I've gotten to meet, and you've gotten to like interact with Caboose, like you see these people being successful. Why would you be anything other than like supportive and happy for them? Yeah, you can be a little bitter and be like, why wasn't it me? But like, you can't let that show.
Yeah. Like I definitely default to just rooting for people because I've been managed to do it okay myself, and and from my upbringing I've learned to not expect anything.
Right.
I haven't had the easiest life, so it's just my mindset to just never expect anything, just expect that you're going to get passed over, and to just try to work twice as hard to overcome it. And when I see people succeed, I'm always there root for them, especially if I know them and see
Yeah.
how hard they work, and I try not to take it personally. Like with the whole Gotham Knights situation, what should I have gotten early access code? Obviously, I was the top creator literally in the world for Gotham Knights at one point, but I still ended up getting a code for it, and even if I hadn't, I still got a lot out of the game, and some creators that I really respect and think are good people got access to it, and I think that's a win. As long as someone I know got it, that's good enough for me, and because I know that even if I don't get that same opportunity that I felt like I should have gotten, I'm not going to pout and do it and be like, oh well, woe was me. I'm gonna figure out a way to turn around on me. Like when they did when I wasn't flown out to WB Studios to play Gotham Knights early. I knew I wasn't, but I didn't get sent it. But I was like, you know what? Even if I'm not one of those people who got to play it early, that doesn't stop me from setting up a live stream and reacting to the people who got to fly out and get
getting
early.
more views on my video than I did.
Yes. That's the thing that I definitely ratioed Jayshockblast unintentionally on his own video. To be fair, I ratioed a lot of people that day on their own videos.
Yeah.
I think I still have probably one of the most viewed Gotham Knights related live streams ever put on YouTube.
Yeah, and it sucks because like I was literally driving to New York Comic Con that day, so like I had no idea what my own videos were even doing. I think some of them did okay, but yeah,
they did pretty good. They did pretty good.
I'm not going to lie. When I tuned into your stream and saw you watching my video with as many people as were watching at that point in time, I was like, this motherfucker.
That's
like,
that's reaction.
But it was just love, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm glad because look, it's still my video is still being viewed.
Yep, I'm still telling people to subscribe to Jayshockblast.
And maybe the metrics don't show as immediately for me, but these people are smart. They see it. You know?
Absolutely. And your video still ended up doing well.
And I gave you very specific permission to do it too. So like I wasn't like mad or anything, but I was like, but still, I was like, I'm in no position to do anything right now. And god damn it.
Like because I knew I had planned that too because I knew when the embargo was, and I was like, okay, well, if I know I'm not going to get, I'm not one of these people that's going to get this early access because this is like elite early access. So I'm like, how can I capitalize? Oh yeah, I can do a lot.
There were only the three of us at the studio.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I can work with something with this.
The funny thing is, I've come to find out at Summer Game Fest talking to Alan. I guess he was also supposed to go to Montreal, but something with a passport, and he ended up going to LA instead because they did like an in-person thing, mostly for local creators, and got stuck there because of the hurricane.
Oh, tough.
They wouldn't let him fly back because he's based in Florida now. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
Hey hurricanes. Glad I don't live near there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess California is about to get like their first one like a long time, if ever.
Well, I don't live in California for many reasons, but
yeah.
You
know, it's funny. Eastwood said something about not getting shot in Chicago. My hotel was beyond fancy. Okay, it must have been in like the nicest part of Chicago because like on the other side of the building was a Dolce and Gabbana, and other stores like that.
Did you do some light shopping?
No. we were looking for something to eat last night, and we
stop by for some caviar.
We did go to Lou Malnati's, but there was a Morton's Steakhouse across the street, and we were just like, what I do is I'll like go on the Maps app and I'll just like zoom all the way in and start clicking on different restaurants. So I clicked on theirs, and the like the price thing, $4 signs. I'm like, oh my god, what does that mean? Dude,
That
they
mean
had
a lot of money.
the cheapest steak on the menu was like $50. Okay,
Whew.
they had $300 5-ounce Wagyu steaks from Japan. Okay, they had a $400 40-ounce tomahawk, and that was just like some of the stuff. Like most of their steaks were like $75 to $150.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, you know what? This is no.
No, that you need a Lego game to come out before you can eat there.
Yeah. I mean, we were very happy with Illuminati's having our lasagna, as Sadot would say. It was so good. I love that pizza.
Your pizza casserole.
Yeah, exactly. Slipshock took us to a chicken place called Harold's.
Oh, Harold's is classic. It's the hood classic.
I think that's kind of what he was implying when he said it, because I didn't know. We didn't know what we wanted. We don't know enough about the area, and I said, listen, just take me to somewhere that is Chicago. Okay, like just take me somewhere that you would go to. And that's where we went.
It's definitely Harold's.
It was good. Enjoyed it. The sauce was like very tangy. The sauce that we got anyway. So that was interesting. No blue cheese, a little bit of disappointment.
I mean that just it's probably the whitest thing you've said in quite a while.
Well, when we went to the Cubs game, though, I started a war on my my Facebook, because Chicago is very famous for hating ketchup on their hot dogs. Right. Allegedly. Okay. Allegedly. So I go to Chicago. We go to Chicago. We get Chicago dogs, which is what they're called at Wrigley Field, and go to the condiment station. There are 2 ketchup pumpers and 1 mustard pumper. And I just put a little bit of ketchup on my hot dog, took a picture of it, put it on Facebook, and said, having a hot dog in Chicago the way God intended. And oh boy, the floodgates opened. I don't have enough in me to do that on Twitter anymore. No. I would have loved to have, but I honestly I hate mustard. I think mustard is disgusting. But I love chili dogs.
I like
mustard, onion on it.
I like mustard, but I didn't know about the whole hot dog and ketchup thing, because I have ketchup on. I do both. I'll put a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of mustard, and some relish, and call it a day.
It's funny though. I'm looking at my memories from Facebook today, and
can barely see that.
7 years ago, Gino's Steaks.
Gino's, oh god.
Tourist. We went to Gino's, and also went to
Did you order your steak with salt, pepper, ketchup?
No.
Failure.
Why would I ever want ketchup on a steak and cheese?
You just ruined your episode.
I don't even really like the Cheese Whiz. I actually thought both of them were a little overrated.
You're not allowed in Philly anymore. If you don't get salt, pepper, ketchup on your cheesesteak, you're doing it wrong.
Salt. I mean, I don't know.
You have to say it like that as well. Salt, pepper, ketchup, as one word.
Nah, this is the way I like my steak and cheese. Some cheese, American onion, and not Cheese Whiz, like actual cheese. Mm-hmm. Some onion and mayo.
So you're almost not terrible. So you gotta go salt, pepper, ketchup, little mayo. You gotta go the onions. I like the raw onion.
That's good.
Thrown in there. I don't like them too.
I don't mind them either way.
Yeah, but for a steak cheesesteak and hoagie, I prefer the raw onions. Just in general, I prefer the raw onions. I don't really like the especially I've had cheesesteaks before where they had like they cooked the onions and they made them small, and I just wanted to throw the steak right at their face. That's not how you put onions on a cheesesteak. That's incorrect.
But, oh man, I thought I was gonna go visit you in Philly next year for WrestleMania, but that ain't happening. They sold out. Over 90,000 tickets sold today.
Jesus.
And the cheapest tickets on Ticketmaster right now over $1,500.
I didn't know wrestling isn't real.
It's entertaining. So
that's great. I had no idea it was even in Philly.
Yep, it went until today.
Oh, maybe I'll if I get rich in the next couple months, I'll grab some that we could go.
I'm waiting for this Camp Lejeune money to kick in.
Yeah.
You see those? I don't know if you have cable or not, but like, see the Camp Lejeune ads all the time. But there's like this massive lawsuit, and I was born in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Apparently, the water was toxic from like 1955 to like 1986, and I see these commercials all the time, and I'm like, there's a catch here. I don't know.
No, you gotta do it. Get on that class action.
So somebody finally, my brother met somebody that finally went through and did it, because they also lived in Camp Lejeune and they had a hearing issue, which is me, and they got like a ton of money out of it. So I'm like, all right, fine. I found a local lawyer about I don't know, I feel like it was like 6 to 8 weeks ago, and gave him all my info. We did like a couple phone calls. Now they're putting in for it and see what happens. So hopefully get a little cash money.
Oh, how much are we talking? How much did that?
I honestly have no idea. I have no expectation whatsoever. All I know is that if it's good, I talked to him about doing a claim about my father, who was actually stationed in Camp Lejeune for 3 years when I was born, and has since passed away from issues that could be attributed by a skilled lawyer to Camp Lejeune water.
Fortunately, I was not born there or raised there, but I do have family in North Carolina. I don't think they were in South Carolina. So yeah, I don't think we have any claim to that. But if you do get a nice little windfall, you owe me an Xbox. You owe me an Xbox.
You know what? If it's at least high 5 figures, I'll make that happen.
Hell yeah, you have it. This is legally binding. Jayshockblast has promised me an Xbox.
At least high 5 figures.
At least high 5 figures. I get Jayshockblast.
Has to be enough for me to pay off all my debt, and then
he'll get me a new Xbox Series X.
We'll see how that goes.
So I can play.
Listen, I hope it happens.
I hope it does too. Just in general, like just you got it. I'm currently having my own legal settlement issue behind the scenes related to a wrongful death issue. So so that's a thing. So I'm in a similar boat.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything with my dad until I see what they can do with my situation. No, it's not pre-recorded, by the way. We're just in a conversation. Sorry, Spiderkin, my bad, our bad. But like, I don't want to have to deal with like my stepmother. I know everything is based on North Carolina law, and I know what North Carolina law is, but I don't want to like deal with. I don't even think she knows my dad was stationed in Camp Lejeune. So I know that my brother and I would split it with her 3 ways, but she would get the first 20,000. So if I end up doing this and all I get is like $5,000, which would obviously be amazing.
Of course.
I don't want to go through all this crap just so that like whatever we get, my stepmother gets all of it because she gets the first $20,000. Like, screw that. So I haven't actually told them that though. So But I just don't want to deal with it until
they're not watching the show, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about that, but I just right before we left, I had a letter from them, and I was like, ooh, what could this be? So I opened it. It was just, hey, listen, if you get a phone call saying that we can't represent you, they're lying. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but not worried.
Yeah, it'd be like that. They're trying to.
They're all sharks, okay? Because even when we were in Chicago in the hotel, there were Camp Lejeune lawsuit ads. Like everybody's trying to get in on it. There was a ton of money put aside for it, and I don't know what my brother's friend got. If I can at least get that, then you're getting an Xbox.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my camp slavery reference. Pay out. Pay out.
I'm not. That's bait.
Well,
I am not touching that one.
Oh wait, where's my? I'm still owed 40 acres and a mule.
Not touching that one. I abstain.
That's fair enough. Smart man. He's learned by episode 46. Jayshockblast has learned.
The Michael Oher stuff this week was a little tough for me. I wanted to respond to it, but then I was like, it's not worth it. Nobody gives a shit what I think about The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Like,
see, you're learning to pick your battles when you don't want to, where you know that your feedback is not welcome.
Yeah.
But I think my butt is sore enough from sitting in this chair. So
I've been traveling all day, so I'm tired. I barely ate anything before jumping on.
I appreciate Jayshockblast rushing to get this show in. So
yeah,
we're gonna wrap it up here. We'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully Jayshockblast will have seen Blue Beetle by then. I'll make sure of it.
I promise you next week's episode I'll have a lot more to talk about than this week.
And we'll have Ahsoka as well. So,
oh yeah, they pushed that up a day.
So there's that. So a lot to talk about next week. Plus, we'll have Gamescom and everything will be of it in the rear view. So lot to go over next week on next week's episode. So stay tuned to this channel and our individual channels, because we're going to be doing live coverage of everything that's popping off. As usual, I'm Sadot the Gamer.
Casual Avenger.
No, you're not.
Jayshockblast.
I'm Casual Avenger. Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.